But without further ado, focusing on the game, spawning in the lower left corner of the map for the first time, it is down 1 in the series, the blue Terran player, Beastie Cutie. Probably one of the only games he's dropped in recent days. And his opponent in the upper right, as I said on Twitter, proving that even a God King can bleed. It is the Leonidas Zerg, Dignitas Tefl. So again, realistically, coming into the series, guys, Beastie was kind of the favorite. He has been a Starbow maniac, but the problem is he's probably not had anyone like when you're at such a high level, you don't get a lot of good practice unless you find other people at a high level. And the problem is Tefl may have just hit him with a strategy that he's never seen before, where it's like, wow, you know, there was no Dark Swarm. I had EMPs, I had Irradiates. How did your Hydralisk, Lurker, Ultralisk, insane combination just overwhelm me so hardcore? And BC may end up trying not to do Bio, but instead Mech this time. I would kind of hope with my fingers crossed. It seems to be his forte. His Vulture control has been unparalleled in Starbow so far, but we'll see if that ends up happening or not. Tefl has opened with a much earlier pool than expected, and may be looking to do a little bit cheeky. Alright, bring this up because ZombieGrub just put in chat. It's like we finish each other's sandwiches. Did anyone else watch the movie Frozen and catch like all these little Arrested Development references? How awesome was that? I'm a big Arrested Development fan. Anyways, this has nothing to do with the game, and I'll shut up about that now, but that just really caught my eye, caught my attention. Now for Zerglings, it's the same conundrum, I guess we'll call it, as regular StarCraft 2, where if you get a wall off, if you get bunkers down, supply depots, hell, if you got this at the top of your ramp, you're not really in danger from early lings. So for Tefl to get this early, a little bit curious on his choice in that regard. I don't think it's going to be like, I don't think it's going to be that all-in, or we would have seen that gas come out earlier. I think he was just getting it down for the sake of getting it down quicker. Let's not forget too, guys, like your builds are slightly different. There's no 13 rack standard 10 pool is a more appropriate timing because you have such a greater income from the resources as each of these do mine out a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. So you 24, and instead of going down to 39, it's 16 because you take 8 minerals per trip. So it's basically like mining from gold, guys. So 10 pool, it looks a little bit odd, but you gotta keep in mind it's not super duper crazy, but it's still earlier than I think you would have otherwise liked to have gone. SCV gonna try and get a scout off here. You know, actually, just think about it, that's kind of weird though, because like these early scouts are going to become a little bit more or less confusing. Because right, like you see a pool done this early, and that could be standard for Starbow, but if you see a 10 pool in StarCraft 2, obviously like, oh my god, he's coming at me all in. So these earlier scouts are kind of an interesting thing to consider for Starbow. Wow, 3 health, SUV barely gets away from that queen. Of course, again, Queen Enraged looks so cool. Like, I really hope they incorporate more things like this where in Starbow, you know, an on-activate ability makes you look super badass, colossally grows in size or something. I don't know. But props to the developers for keeping it cool so far, keeping it real. Again, if you guys don't have an opinion formulated about Starbow, I would like to share mine with you, where at the moment this game mod, it's really, really flavor of the month. I mean, it's flavor of the week right now, to be honest. That's how kind of up and out of nowhere it is. I know the Starbow mod's been around for a while, but it's gained a lot of popularity fast, and I'm just hoping it doesn't burn out too soon, because I see a lot of potential for some really cool stuff, and I would definitely love to see more Starbow production as StarCraft 2 goes on, but I definitely don't think this is going to replace StarCraft 2 anytime soon as far as like the pro scene goes, but it's still really fun and really cool and really interesting, so I hope you guys have been enjoying it. If for no other reason just to be along for the ride, it's entertaining. And it's a nice break from StarCraft 2. That's my point of view on it, at least. Anyways, we do have the mech play coming out of Beastie Cutie. Ion Thrusters is coming out, and if you missed the talk about it earlier, guys, the Orbital Command Center, which actually doesn't exist, can overcharge unit production facilities to make Terran build a little bit quicker. Nurturing Swarm is an ability that I kind of feel is going to need to be played with too. I've never seen a Zerg player use it. What it does is kind of good. Like, it's not a bad thing to do. It's basically a transfuse, but it also makes a building build faster. So it's kind of, I guess if you really want to get your natural up really fast, I don't know, you could do that instead, but Vultures are going to start poking across the map. Vultures are kind of the counter Ling units. They're kind of the counter drone units, but they're not going to fare well against Hydralisks if Tefl gets those out early, and he certainly is with muscular augments being researched. Spider Mines, if they get researched later on, again, they do not attack workers, guys, but they will go off on Zerglings, they will go off on Hydralisks. The problem is Zerglings and Hydralisks actually attack really fast, so dealing with the Spider Mines is not out of the question. And, wow, is BC playing on Daedalus points? Is that what this wall off is happening, right? Is this really happening? Like, anyways, Vulture harass. Whoa, what is? How do I AI? Is that what's happening right here? Oh, I didn't realize you can see the little bald dudes inside the vultures. It's like the guy in the missile turret. Anyways, vultures are going to get over here and be able to pick off quite a few of these drones. The Queen is not really that big of a threat, and the relevance focuses on the workers with this sort of harass move. Unfortunately for Tefl, he doesn't have enough Lings or Hydras to deal with this just yet. I mean, the Hydras will start chipping away at the vultures, but as we can see, do not exactly go down fast, and still one-shotting the drones. With the ion thrusters, even the metabolic boost, Lings can't keep up with this. Oh my god. This is insane to consider something was faster than Zerglings, but the Vulture certainly pulling off. Will try and get the drone, but with only 20 damage a shot, and these Hydras taking half damage, unfortunately, do not go down too quickly here. They are medium units versus medium units, and of course Vultures do the bonus versus light. Of course, it's weird because there's no tooltip here. Like, it's not armored. It's not I don't know, light classification in that regard. Anyways, Hydra steamrolling across the map right now are going to be a pain to deal with here for Beastie. His best bet, I think what he's trying to do right now, is drive them back home to draw their attention away from his front lines and to use the Vultures to really just scare Tefl into a retreat. But as we see, we have got the Lurkers on the way. Siege tanks are already up in a good spot, though, and without that high ground vision, pushing past this choke won't be too easy. And I think, you know what, I actually, I was making fun of this wall a moment ago. I actually really like this wall a lot now, because if this was out here, Tefl would be able to siege at it no problem without the siege tanks being able to give it proper cover fire. Now that's a little deeper in, it forces a fight. What's going on, and while I'm talking smack, by the way, 27 workers have died, and Tefl is not out of the... he's not out of hot water yet, still dealing with the drones in the main. If he loses everything, who cares if there's some lurkers here? BC could one base versus a player who has no drones very easily. So with 9 workers remaining, Tefl's economy is not going to be out of the game, but not in a good spot by any means. Lurkers have started to destroy this base, and the scan's going to need to go down to detect them. So unfortunately for BC, it's not the easiest hold in the world, but I guess microing the Vultures was worth it in the end. Is going to pick up a couple more Lurkers there, boldly moving forward into what is only siege tank fire as well as lurker fire, Vulture fire. So he cleans up the Lurkers, drives the Hydralisk back, and just lands his command center once again. So BC is not in a bad spot this game. Holds the lines quite nicely, 42 workers to 10. Really tells you a lot about this game. And Spider Mines have been researched, so starts putting down a bit of a minefield to zone out units from just freely walking forward. What the Spider Mines do essentially is they force you to just attack move rather than just move, really. Because of course you can pick them off before they detonate, but... a scary thing to consider is the fact that BC is turtle up so hardcore. He's taken a third base, but I don't know that Tefl saw that. No, so kind of going to get away with this for a little bit. Worth noting, guys, while they do, of course, instantly call down SCVs, they still cost 50 minerals, so it's not a free unit. But it's an instant build anywhere you need them, which is really nice. Spider Mines on this map, guys, on Texas have been rather abusive for BC from every series we've ever seen him play them in. And for Tefl, it's not going to be the easiest thing moving across the map because the player who's got Spider Mines out the wazoo. But playing mech in a much more comfortable scenario, I think BC's got a much better handle of this game. Lots of siege tanks available. And, man, that Vulture harass really, like, I gotta be honest, I haven't seen enough games to know how to deal with this because I've not seen anyone able to shut down BC's like Vulture dives. They're always so good, and when he doesn't send them in through the ground, he brings them in through dropships. But Hydralisks are gonna get sort of one shot as he runs by. There's a good clump of them here to keep them out of the base. So I guess that's one way to do it. Just have like a wall of units waiting. Goliath's coming out. This is another nod. Again, I don't know if this was on purpose or accidental, but I think it's really cool. Goliaths have very unique features to them. So you notice one has a flame on it, the other is just naked. Actually, no, it's not naked. It's got wings painted on it. So Goliaths have very unique features to them when they get built. I would love, love, love if Starbow could somehow incorporate that to all units. So like, you know, not all these Vultures look the exact same, but maybe some have decals, decals, some flames on some, maybe some markings of battle on the others. I mean, I don't know, it's a really nerdy thing and not a big deal, but just like that cool factor, you know? Being constantly present here with the Vultures, though, doesn't want to give Tefl any breathing room, and Tefl knows, like, alright, my economy's still recovering. Like, I'm not even, like, he doesn't know, but he's, like, barely caught up to his opponent on workers. We got a Spire on the way. Mutalisks will be certainly cool, and this is kind of something I talked about before, where, as a meching player, you don't really have a very concrete anti-Mutalisk unit. Like, Goliaths are cool, guys, and we really did miss them from the campaign, but they're not Thors. They don't shut Mutalisks down, and the damage they have lacks, let's be honest, but still able to fill the need. Milos may not even get out though in this game soon enough, pushing up here into the third base. Vultures and Siege Tanks are going to get on top of this. Spine Caller going to do what it can, but the Vultures are on top of this with those Siege Tanks, so damage is going to get dealt for sure. Widow Mines, or sorry, Spiner Mines more accurately, are going to get here to sort of zone out where the Hydras can just move in from. Unfortunately, unlike Widow Mines, they cannot shoot upwards, and there's really only 2 Goliaths for anti-air here. So this hatchery is inevitably going to go down. Beastie's done another one to his top that I don't think he knows about, but that's okay for now. He does need to fall back from this though. Mutalisar on the way, and I don't know that he... No, he is... oh, he did see the Spire actually. So with his earlier run by through a scan, he knows that Mutalisar are inevitable. He's seen them now out on the map. Goliaths do not have the upgrade like the campaign to attack 2 units at once, so that would be pretty cool, pretty snazzy. Not going to happen anytime soon. A couple tanks can get picked off, but there's a huge mass of Goliaths behind this waiting. Missile turrets coming down, and 1 or 2 Goliaths don't cut it, but a lot of Goliaths certainly do. Hydra's going to be a problem though, as they are trying to focus down on the wrong units. Mutalisar now going to be pushed back, and Tefl has to disengage once again. Oh my god, the Vultures! Drones are being pulled, but what can Drones do against this many Vultures? Queen is enraged, but Beastie Cutie splits it up, and this is his signature move, guys. Looks like the natural base will be held with a combination of the enraged Queen and these Mutalisars. So I asked earlier, like, how do you shut this down? And this seems to be the answer. Losing very little workers on this run by still down to 26 workers. Tefl not in a great spot, and BC scans this base while that's happening. Still has Spider Mines down here, so he's got vision, if nothing else, about where Tefl's, if this base gets taken anytime soon. 2 more Vultures gonna head towards the north part here, and the drones are already being pulled. I really like this. With this very awkward choke setup here, he's putting a Spider Mine down in order to catch any Hydralisks that may respond, but of course, it's not Hydralisks, but indeed Mutalisks. Now, one thing that does counter Mutalisks quite nicely... Oh, I unfortunately missed those going off. Sorry, guys. Irradiate. Mutalisks, as we can see, clump up a hell of a lot here in Starbow, and Irradiate, it's so difficult to pick out which unit is irradiated. Now, we do have Vikings. Oh, thank you, God. We have Vikings. So, Vikings I'm getting really excited about because, A, they look cooler in Starbow, but their attacks look really wicked. Wait till you see them come out. It's, like, not a big deal when there's 1 of them, but when there's 4 of them attacking, it looks pretty cool. So you just see like this salvo of missiles from the air, from the ground. They're trying to drive the Beatles back. Now, unfortunately, as much as it looks cool and it's got those bonus points for that, it doesn't do bonus damage. And these Beatles are not going to be dealt with too easily anytime soon. But that's a hell of a lot of Goliaths. Oh my god. Science Vessel's coming out with more Vultures behind this too. Eventually, BC's going to be at the point where he can just produce a lot of Vultures. But oh god, the Beatles fly right over top of the Goliaths. Tefl with a small misclick, realizing he's just way too far behind, taps out. Good game is called, and Beastie will take this back 1-1 and send us to game number 3 in the finals, the ace match.